Hi Manasvi, how are you?
Hi, Stuti. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for taking out the time and being here with us on Tangerine.
Honestly, I'm just grateful that you asked me for this. This is so fun for me.
I'm glad. Okay, so Manasvi, tell us, what do you do?
Okay, so I do a lot of things. I primarily have my background in architecture and interiors. So I am a spatial designer. That was like my area of study in the beginning, and then because of that, I explored a lot of creative areas of my life. I also got into the field because I'm just a generally creative individual, and उस time पे ऐसा होता था कि just get into what feels most called towards. So like architecture was something that I wanted to do, and I love spaces. I love feelings in spaces. So that's where I started, and through my work, I understood that the capacity of how much I can take on my plate on a day-to-day basis and how much I want to explore more led me to doing a lot more that I do now. I do print, I do some zine making and like designing zines for other people as well. I do graphics, I curate dinners and experiences and spaces around that. And I also am building a lovely, cute community here in Indore where I live right now. And it's both online and offline. So we have intimate experiences. So we plan experiences and help people connect with each other and themselves better. So that's a spectrum of things that I do right now. But primarily, I'm a very creative individual. So I do like a lot of art and design. So like mixing design and art together and expressing myself through that. So I facilitate yoga experiences for people as well and take like one-on-ones where I can help them attune with them and help them attune with themselves as well.
That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. Okay, tell us, what was your most unexpected internal shift that you felt while running all of these things along with your personal journey?
Hmm. I think the biggest thing that shifted when I started to realize that I do a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. It's not like something that I am managing. I genuinely am interested in doing so many things. And when I started actually allowing myself to be okay with that fact that, like, I want to do that also and I want to do this also. And I don't really have to make just one thing big. I just am as a whole that person, and that shift happened by allowing myself to do that, like just letting myself
Mm,
be in all of these spaces and be seen in all of these spaces, even if I'm imperfect, even if I'm not like the best or master of one. I'm okay being a jack of a lot of things, and I enjoy myself doing that. So that shift happened only when I allowed myself to actually do things. So that was very important. I think that was a big shift that I feel now that led me to become okay with everything, become okay with like the
mhm.
chaos that I am.
Can you walk us through your creative process?
Hmm. My creative process. I'm usually somebody who likes constraints. I like a brief. If I'm given a thing to do, I like a brief. I am not a blank canvas individual. I like
Mhm.
problem solving. So if I'm working with, say, a client or somebody who has a design, like I did a wedding invite and a whole curation on their stationery very recently. So what I did there was just like had a conversation with those people. Like I really enjoy like conversations, which is why I'm really enjoying anybody reaching out to me for a conversation. So my first way to go about any creation is just either I'm having a conversation with myself about what I want to really do, why am I even sitting to do all of this, or have a conversation with the other person. I like 1 hour sessions or like just like taking one-on-one calls or just meeting them and like understanding what their needs are. And I do the same with my expression when I'm like, if I'm curating a zine for myself, like what is my intention? The intention setting happens, and then I let myself play around with a lot of things. Like I'll pick random mediums to work with, and I also feel like I'm a little slow with my creative process. I think I take my time with it, but I give myself like a week if I have to, and प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन होगा उसमें क्योंकि वो प्रोसेस का पार्ट बन जाता है एंड देन बाय द एंड ऑफ इट देयर विल बी वन डे व्हेन आई एम लाइक ओके आई हैव एवरीथिंग नाउ टुगेदर आई विल जस्ट सिट विद इट I just blurt or like just vomit out on whatever medium I'm working. And then like one draft comes out, and that draft only gets iterated. For me, that is how it goes. I am not working on multiple options or like let me try this or that. I think for me personally, just allowing that thing to come to me works better. So that's mostly my creative process if I have to put it in like a consolidated thing.
Do you feel any sort of agitation or any sort of, like, oh, I have to do this, or, okay, this is not coming, something like that during the entire process?
All the time. All the time. So like till the point I just sit with it, I'm constantly in my head just like, okay, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. I will not sit with my paper and copy sometimes. I'll just like, it's just happening in my head for a very long time. That's what I'm also kind of learning now, that even this is part of the process of happening. So now I can like not get agitated that much. But if I'm like very, very blank after, if I've been given a brief or something, if I'm too blank, I think for me making mood boards or like just going through other people's work or getting inspired by very random visuals. Like visuals, I'm a very visual person. I think in visuals. So for me, just finding really beautiful visuals or just something that really clicks, I just put it there. And that's
Mhm.
my process of like moving through, like making mood boards or just dropping some images in one folder and just seeing that, okay, yeah, this is relevant to these people, or the home might have this kind of feel, or like a cafe or a office might have this kind of feel. So that's usually my go-to, like visuals. I'll just take a picture if I find something, a palette or something. That's how I kind of go.
And I have to ask you this. How do you manage it all, or how do you balance it?
I am learning. I don't think I have figured it all out. I am still very chaotic with the whole thing. There are days when I feel very, very that I'm a jack of everything. So that's just a not a good feeling. But then I'm some days very good with the fact that like I'm a jack of everything. I feel good. I have so much that I can explore. Uh, but I think coming back to yoga really helps. Coming back every day on the
Mhm.
mat, just like there are days I don't really do my practice, but I'm just there. I'm just there in the morning. I have my morning time, which is just mine. At that point of time, everything just okay, what to do, how to do this. It's fine. If you don't want to do it today, you can take a break. So that morning hour anchors it all for me. So that my whole day's management then happens on that morning period. Like I really like my mornings. Yeah, so I was just saying that like I initially when I started my architectural studio and everything, I was building into a studio. And when COVID hit and things slowed down, that's when I started to realize that like I want to do a lot more. So when I understood that like if a lot more is gonna come in, I only have to manage myself, not everybody else. That I like people managing has gotten lesser because I'm also understanding that like it's all connection centric. So I can just ask for what I need project wise and then be okay with like not having a lot on my plate at each point of time. That makes it easier for me to like manage multiple styles of projects because then I don't have like a office that I have to manage. I have to minimize my other managing systems. So yeah.
Hmm. And tell us, Manasvi, that has there ever been a moment that has challenged you, and how, if there ever was, how did you, how did it affect your creative process?
Hmm. Like I think the most challenging period for me was when I had to like really sit down and go like, okay, I want to need to stop and take a break from taking up work. That was super challenging for me because my whole identity revolved around me working. Like I wanted it to be I wanted to be called an architect. I really enjoyed being called an architect because I was doing what I really enjoyed, and like that identity, when I put a stop to it, that was the most challenging part for me in this whole journey of like understanding that I want to do more things. That if I let go of that, then oh, who am I then? Like, what will I tell people who I am? What will I tell people when they ask me, ki, oh, aap kya karte ho? What do you do? then it's like a spectrum of things that you can't put cohesively together. I think that was the most challenging part of it. And I still face it sometimes. I still feel like I don't know what
Hmm.
to call myself, because multidisciplinary designer is something, but I'm also like expressing myself, and I'm also doing art and like so many different things. It's just like that is, I think, the most challenging aspect of like this whole process, or have that I have faced, that I've come around.
What is that one thing that you have unlearned in your journey? One thing that you have unlearned in your journey.
Hmm. I would like to like say that I have unlearned the whole thing, but I don't think I've fully unlearned the fact that like I can do it all by myself. You know,
Hmm.
that I need people who can help me, and like there are people who want to help me. You know, this
Hmm.
idea
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
have,
yeah.
that, oh, I will have to do it all, and like I will be that person who will be responsible for everything, and I will be accountable for everything. I had to unlearn the fact that like any art process or any design journey has so many people on the way for it to make it happen. Like even if you have like say a print, there's that guy who will put that print on the right sheet and get the right GSM and put it there. That person who is actually who inspired you to get to that design element of thing. And even in like spatial design, there's like so many contractors, so many laborers, the clients, the vendors, and your own team who will help you out. So it's something that I feel like initially I thought and looked at it from a way lens of it being like that I am managing everybody. Then eventually I realized like everybody's managing themselves also. You just need to help
Yeah.
and allow them to do what they want to do, and find the right kind
Hmm.
of people who want to work with you. And like also everybody's trying to learn. Like even the contractors are trying to learn how to do better business and how to, get better at like getting better clients whom they also feel good about, getting richer in their lives and whatnot. So everybody's struggling, everybody has their own journey, and like you're not doing it alone. Everybody's doing it with you, and then only that out product is gonna come out.
Of course. And what are some barriers that you have broken so far?
I think the biggest barrier is my like that. I think of like I am not just an architect now. Like that was like for
Hmm.
me. When I actually took a break, I also thought like कि ठीक है एक साल रुकते हैं फिर हम वापस वही करेंगे. फिर वो एक साल में मुझे इतना सारा फील हुआ कि नहीं यार मतलब I wanted to do so much even as a kid. तो फिर वो जब हुआ break, then I actually got momentum into like doing so many other things with a lot of joy. वरना तो वो नहीं हो रहा था मुझसे. Like I think my that if I hadn't broken that barrier, that I'm not accepting that I'm not an architect, but I'm not just an architect. I'm more than just that.
You mentioned that you have your own community now. What role does your community play in your creative evolution?
Wow, that's a good question. I really like that question. Um, this whole realization also happened through working with people, that everybody is kind of going through their own little journey in their own lives, and that community building ended up being being like a reflection for myself, that like I have so much to express. I want to let people know that this kind of living is available, this kind of seeing your design or your work is available. And when I got like response from the community coming together, and like they were like, oh, we didn't feel like this for a very long time in our day to day, हमें कितना टाइम निकालना पड़ता है ये फील करने के लिए, जबकि आपके पास है वो वक्त. मतलब it's not just it's a matter of actually just sitting and really allowing yourself to be however, like even if you're miserable, allow yourself to be miserable. And when the community responds to that, it's such a big motivation to actually be expressing myself better. That like I want to let people know that these are barriers in your head, like that that led me for me to create my own personal things. Then, like, I was not just working for other people, so then I started realizing that I want my own voice to be there somewhere. So in my creative journey, zines became a big part, only because I was like, this is my medium, I can really express through zines. I don't have to write
Hmm.
books, I don't have to like make very gigantic canvases. For me, zines are that medium. Like, that was a very good thing for me. So I started creating for zines for the community as well. We started giving them as souvenirs for our in our events and stuff. So that aspect really changed for me. कि हाँ मेरे creative areas में what do I want to do for myself?
Hmm.
That's how
Hmm.
it came into play.
What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's exploring their creative journey?
So if they're exploring their creative identities, I think the biggest advice is just don't forget to explore. Like, if you found something that is your identity, keep exploring that as well. Like, how many facets that identity has to itself. कि ऐसा नहीं है कि बस now you're stuck in this one way of being in that identity. Because as an architect also, I evolved as an architect when I actually stopped identifying that कि I am just an architect. Like, I'm
Hmm.
not just a standard architect. I'm a different kind of individual. I want different kinds of ways of working, being an architect as well. I want to draw, I still want to do spaces. I still want to like approach spaces, but I don't want to do it from a space of like, this is how the system works. So don't get stuck in like not exploration, not seeing or being not seeing it from a lens of like a curious kid. See it from a space of wonder. Keep exploring all of your identities more endlessly. Like, there are endless uh, opportunities to see yourself from different angles. And बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसे छोड़ने के लिए भी रेडी रहने का कि हाँ ठीक है नहीं ये दिस इज नॉट वर्किंग आउट फॉर मी मे बी समथिंग एल्स.
If you had to write a letter to your past self, what would it contain?
You stupid person. You start like this. How did you forget? I don't know, like my past self. I mean, I'm only learning how to be more appreciative. I was very critical of my past self, and like I'm learning how to be more okay with being chaotic. And I still was chaotic back then, so I would just maybe like to say that it's fine. You're doing perfectly. Like काफी banger ही चल रहा है सब कुछ. Not everything, and everything will be okay at some point. I think ओकेनेस की डिग्री बढ़ते ही है. मतलब वो चीज मुझे बोलना चाहूंगी मैं कि to my old self that like there were so many times where like no I have to become this person to be able to be respected, or like seeing as a woman in like an architectural area of work. उस टाइम पे मुझे ऐसा बहुत intimidating लगता था, तो I used to overcompensate with my work in that way that like no. And yeah, maybe I'd like to tell them that like you will find the right people who want to do work with you, and you will find the right people who want to work for you as well. Because sometimes you just feel like there are people who would not want to work for me because I'm a small business or a small studio or a small in any way that we think as is small. But yeah, I think things work out.
And the
Thanks.
last and final question, what does success mean to you?
Oh my god, there's like two different parts inside me. One is like, what, success is this, these are standards of success, and the other part is like, as long as I'm happy, I'm successful. As long as I'm like happy doing what I do, I have a roof over my head, I have food on my plate, and like कुछ bare minimums meet हो रहे हैं और तुम कर पा रहे हो, the capacity to be able to like function decently well, I think, and be able to communicate through whatever mediums you have कि this is what my small part of life looks like. मुझे लगता है वो expression जब तक है तब तक तो success भी है ही. And not that I end up telling this to myself all the time. I am very sad at this that like मैं नहीं बोल पाती हूँ खुद को, मैं खुद को ये चीज नहीं याद दिला पाती हूँ. But because I'm now on a podcast and whatnot, why not give some ज्ञान But no, man, like I think now I think through all of this my idea of success had at least like broken down into this, that like, as long as like you're meeting good people and you're doing fun projects, you are successful. Fun होना जरूरी है. It has to not be sad or like बहुत ही ऐसा कि oh my god, I'm so stressed out because of all of this work. No, I don't think I would enjoy that. It comes from a lot of privilege that I can say that. I'm sure that I feel privileged enough to say all of this कि भाई नहीं. But I've moved through my stuff in some ways. I think that like now I don't feel like कि नहीं मुझे at least इतना पैसा या इतनी चीजें कमानी पड़ेंगी तभी जाके I'll be called successful. But yeah, I think I'm moving towards what I want to do more of. That's good enough.
That is whatever is good for you is good enough, definitely. But on that note, thank you so much, Manasvi, for taking out the time and being here with us.
I'm glad that we did this because it was so fun.